Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Another Thursday for an AMA on e-commerce and web design. Thank you for being here today. I hope that you're having a great week so far. And we are going to be talking today about the seven C's of e-commerce. That is letter C. Today's episode brought to you by the letter C. And we're going to be talking about what they are, how and why they're important for your e-commerce business, and how you can refine them so that you're on top of your game when it comes to selling online. My name is Daniel. I'm with Propoly. We're an e-commerce development company in Denver, Colorado, and we provide e-commerce design, e-commerce management services for clients all over the world, not just in the United States. And we save our clients hundreds of hours every week so that they can focus on what they do best, which is growing their business and growing their brands. So let's touch base real quick on what the seven C's are, and then we're going to be breaking them down one by one. I look forward to seeing some of your comments here in the chat. If you have any questions, please feel free to chime in, and we'll love to help you. Today through the AMA, we are going to be, answering any questions you might have about e-commerce, web design, as well as SEO. If you want us to take a look at your online store, your website, maybe we can run a quick search online, see where you're ranking, or maybe you want to do a compare between your website and your competitors. Maybe we can take a look at what they're doing. But let's jump right into it. And the seven C's of e-commerce, what they are. So they start with content, commerce, credibility, communication, connectivity, convenience, and cost. Those are the seven C's of e-commerce today. And we're going to be talking about each one of them. So we're going to start with content. What's content? What does it refer to? And that refers to all the images, product descriptions, all your product photos, your videos, anything that has to do with the content. Is the first C for content. That includes your blogs, your blog posts, and everything that is all the text, the fonts, all of that. So you want to look at your site and look at the content and make sure that it is all optimized, that is clear to your customers, and that product images are new and crisp, and that you're putting your best foot forward when it comes to content. Next is commerce, and it talks about frictionless checkout flow. You will want to take a look at at the steps that a customer needs to take in order to check out. Whether you're running, direct to checkout landing pages, just landing and checkout, or if you are taking your customers through a checkout journey, just take a look at that. You should be reviewing it regularly, every week, every 2 weeks, making sure that there's nothing that is preventing your customers from reaching that very important checkout page, and that they're able to actually complete the checkout process. You want to ensure that your payment gateway is connected, that you are probably offering more than just one payment option. Whether you're only showing, for example, pay with credit card on an e-commerce site, it's important that you also integrate newer technologies and newer frictionless checkout options such as Apple Pay or Google Pay, even offering installment payments during checkout, such as your, what is that called? The um Afterpay. Afterpay, and some others that allow your customers to check out and then just break down their payments into multiple installments. That way they can pay over 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. But on the commerce, on the checkout C, you want to optimize that journey so that customers can go from landing on your page to selecting a product to making a decision on whether it has product options, for example, adding it to the cart. What happens after I click the add to cart? Do I get a pop-up that it was added? Am I taken to the cart page? Am I being presenting some upsells? All that is part of the journey on your commerce and your checkout flow. So you want to make sure that everything flows smoothly, that everything loads rapidly, and that customers are able to continue on the next step of the funnel, on the next step of your checkout flow. Then they're presented with the checkout page or a checkout form. Are they being presented the correct shipping options? Are you enticing them with free shipping right off the bat? Or are you showing some kind of upsell message? Hey, you are, $30, $50 from free shipping. So why not add something else and, enjoy free shipping? And then, getting to the checkout page, looking at the shipping cost. Are you having too many input fields for them to be able to check out? Always remember that you should only be requesting or requiring fields and data that you absolutely need to complete the sale. So, for example, one that is very popular is that your shipping address is checked by default as the same as the billing address because you really, you don't want them to have to repeat themselves on, yeah, this is my billing information. And now I have to enter it again because now you're asking me for shipping information, which is actually the same. So make sure that your e-commerce platform, whatever it is you're using, whether you're on Shopify, BigCommerce, WooCommerce, or any of the other major e-commerce platforms, that on your settings you have the pre-selected shipping address same as billing. That will save your visitors and your customers several steps, twice the number of input fields. And if anybody, for any reason, happens to have a different shipping address than a billing address, maybe they're sending as a gift to somebody else, then they can untick that checkbox and enter a different shipping address. But again, the second C for commerce refers to a smooth and frictionless checkout. So make sure you're checking that on your store and that you're optimizing it. And if you find any step is confusing your customers or is adding friction that maybe you can eliminate, always consider, less friction. Get them out, all the way to payment as quickly as possible, as painless as possible, because that's going to improve and raise your conversion rates. The third C in the seven C's of e-commerce is credibility. And, customers are always evaluating whether you are, a credible source for, the exchange of their money for your product or your services. So make sure that you're adding trust signals, trust seals, that you have your privacy policies in place, all of the security, marks that they need to see, whether it's utilizing your SSL certificate and making sure that you have that lock icon on the address bar, showing them and telling them what you do with their information, that you're not selling to third parties, any certifications, affiliations, from your products, whether they are green certified or you are, part of some kind of association, if you're in the medical or in the supplement side of business. What can you show them that would increase their trust in your brand and on your site so that they feel comfortable making a purchase? That is the third C of e-commerce, and that would be credibility. You want to, put your best foot forward to make the customer comfortable about, running the transaction with not just with your brand, but with your online store. When they're checking out, just letting them know that everything is secure, that the transaction is being encrypted in your privacy policy. You probably want to tell them about, how your payment gateway takes care of this transaction behind the scenes, and you're actually not seeing, and their credit card information is not actually being exposed to anyone within your business. It just happens directly from their bank to the payment gateway, and everything happens seamlessly and securely. So keep that in mind as well when you are running through your checklist of, okay, am I following the 7 C's of e-commerce? The third C is credibility. Is my site showing that our business is credible and that the information is secure and that they're actually going to get their products on time and, in the correct way? So credibility, the third C of e-commerce. Now, in the fourth C of e-commerce, we're going to go into communication, and that includes all the messaging, whether it is on directly on the site, but any follow-up messaging as well. So once a customer places an order, they should be receiving a order confirmation email, and you want to make sure that it's cohesive with your brand voice, with the website, with the product they order. So make sure that all your communication, all the messaging, follow the same brand voice. You may need to train your staff on, how do we communicate with clients and customers, or what's the tone, what do we want to portray to them when they are transacting with our online store and with any of the other touch points after the purchase. When we're requesting or asking them to come back and leave a review on the product or service that they received, when they're interacting with customer service, even when they're interacting with your live chat, even if it's not a real person, if you have like a chatbot, like an AI chatbot that you have integrated, you also want to make sure that you are training that AI model to respond and to reflect the same communication style than your brand. So, always think about that and check that, communication style and tone in your online store, is that, and on your website, is that matching, what the customer is expecting, or is it following the same uh, line and the same structure and the same, just having this, like you're talking to the same person or to the same business. You don't want to change tones too aggressively between one interaction and the other because you want to keep it consistent. Again, that would be the fourth C of the 7 C's of e-commerce, and that would be communication. So any follow up, any, whether it's email, even your when somebody calls your business, if they are, in the queue waiting to be connected to a live person, what does that sound like? Is there a message there from the business telling them about what you do and why you are the best at what you do and why your products excel at what your business is selling and things like that? Everything, every touch point that a customer has with your business, communication should, match every single touch point. Now, on the fifth C of e-commerce comes connectivity, and that has to do with all the integrations that your store is running, whether it's plugins or apps or the chatbot, like I mentioned earlier, email marketing, SMS, your social profiles, and all of the marketplaces. So the connectivity that your store has, with all of those systems. You want to ensure that all of them are working, that nothing is stuck or broken, or that it's, causing any kind of trouble or confusion or lack of confidence from the customers to do business with you. You definitely want to, integrate with marketplaces, but make sure that those connectivities are kept up to date, that all the information and the data is flowing, uh, you know, correctly between the marketplace channels. So you want to go to those profiles and those landing pages on the marketplaces and make sure that everything is syncing. That your product images, your pricing, your sales and discounts, product descriptions, and all of that is flowing correctly to all of those connections. What is the marketplaces, or if you're selling on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok, check those connections, make sure that they are set up correctly, that you have all the branding, like your logo, integrated into all of them, and that transactions are actually happening and, flowing in the right way, that nothing is broken, that everything is connecting and syncing with all of that. Same with connections to your email marketing. Whether you have forms, for example, on the footer of your online store, or you're using a plugin for leads and contact forms. You want to check all of those connections and make sure that they're active, that they're kept up to date, and that they are working. So I would recommend that, for contact forms, test them at least every 2 weeks. Just go onto your website, fill out the form, submit it, make a note that it's you, so that whoever is receiving and following up on those contact forms know that you're running the biweekly test, for example, on those forms, or have somebody from your staff run those tests. But check on all of those connections, all of those integrations. There are apps. You're probably connecting to a shipping calculator, as maybe Shipper HQ. Is that working correctly? Is it calculating your rates the way it's supposed to? And are those being shown live to customers as they check out? There's a lot to review on connectivity. That's the fifth C of the seventh of e-commerce. Um, but check them and don't keep. This is just as important. Don't keep any connection that you are not using, because all of those connections and calls to third-party apps and APIs, if something is old and left behind and you have not been taking care of removing them, it could be slowing your website. It could be hurting your conversion rates. People, might be waiting on the checkout page because there's an app that you forgot to remove that you're not even using, and it's hanging and it's slowing things down. So, in connectivity is just as important to make sure that what you have and what you're using is properly connected, as well as checking that what you decided not to continue using has been removed, has been disconnected and is not cluttering the back end of your online store or your website. So, um, I encourage you to run a check on those apps regularly. Make sure that when you sign up to those apps and those services that you set it up with the correct email address and somebody's actually monitoring any kind of errors or disconnections that may be happening, and that you're getting those in a timely manner and that they are being addressed and fixed promptly. Now let's go into the sixth C of e-commerce, and that's going to be convenience. Now, obviously, we all shop online because it's supposed to be more convenient, but is your online store and your e-commerce website truly convenient to your customers? Are you making it easy to navigate through your product catalog and to search and find the correct products in your website and your online store? How is the mobile user experience? It has to be convenient, right? Where we just take convenience for granted. And when was the last time that you checked your website and say, okay, yeah, it is really convenient, or no, maybe it's not convenient because things are not looking very well on mobile. Just a few weeks ago, we were contacted by a client in the East Coast, and his website, when we went to look at it, it was not scaling and adapting correctly to a mobile phone, to the mobile phone screen. I was like, wow, you have a real, you know, a real missed opportunity here to create a better experience for your customers. And he's doing, fairly well on his sales, but when you are not making it convenient to your customers online, you're really hurting the experience that they get from your brand. So we went in, we fixed things pretty rapidly because a lot of those they just needed some additional CSS styling, things like that. And by the time that he looked at it, once we were done, he was very impressed. He was like, wow, this really looks a lot better now. On the mobile screen, everything is lining up correctly and it's just more enjoyable, easier to scroll and navigate. And now everything looks better. So you are making your customer feel the convenience of shopping in your online store versus dreading, maybe they need their your product because it's something that they actually need to, for keeping their health, to the best they can, or whether it's supplements or something medical that even like RX or some kind of medication that they need to shop from your online store, and they will do it, but they're like, it's just so inconvenient to go on this site, but I'm gonna do it because I really need the product. So if you have a client base like that, uh, just try your best to make it as convenient as possible. And even that's that case where they actually have to go to your online store to purchase. But if they don't, if they can get a similar product that you sell from another website that is just more convenient to shop from, they're gonna do it. So don't be surprised if you are losing customers and users to your competition because their site is more convenient than yours. Would bring me to what I mentioned earlier. If you want us to take a look at your website, at your online store, see how convenient and easy it is to navigate, just drop your message in the chat, and we'll be happy to take a look at that live. So use this space for your convenience. Talking about convenience, and we're here for you and to help you. And let's go now into the seven C of e-commerce, which would be cost. What is the cost that the consumer, that the user is perceiving and is understanding from your online store? What's the pricing? Is it clear enough? What is the shipping cost? And how transparent is your pricing? Are you trying to be sneaking a few fees over here? Like, we probably all heard about, they're cracking down on all these ticketing online systems that I'm not going to mention any names, but you know who they are. That you're going to purchase a ticket for an event, for a concert, or some event that you want to attend, and the price of the ticket is, I don't know, $200. But by the time that you check out and they tack all these fees, it ends up being $350 or something like that. So nobody likes that. It's happened with the airlines e-commerce system, where you go to purchase your ticket to fly, to Los Angeles, and you see a price, but by the end you check out after all the fees and bags and airport fees and whatnot. It's a totally different number. So I think that to an extent we have become accustomed to not trusting the price we see on those kind of websites. And we know it's going to be much higher by the time we get to the payment. But don't do that. I mean, they're cracking down on those pretty harshly and saying, "Hey, just be clear. The seven C's of e-commerce is cost. Make it clear from the very beginning. Don't play any games. Just tell us what it's going to be at the end. We understand that there are product options, or different." Um, product variables that may affect the price, but just be upfront about them. Be as clear as possible from the very beginning, and so by the time that the customer gets to checkout, that they know what they're going to be paying from the beginning. No big surprises. Everybody understands that the price may fluctuate when we're selecting or adding options to what we're buying, but make them as clear as possible. Also, in your shipping, whether you have any additional fees for shipping hazmat products, for example, whether it's batteries or any kind of fuel like butane or something like that that needs to have a special handling, and that it actually costs you, the business owner, more to ship. Be clear about that as soon as possible. Like, if it's a product that incurs an extra fee on shipping, have it clearly mentioned on the product page, so that people that are shopping and they land on that page, they know, oh, I know from the very beginning that this product is going to have a higher shipping cost because it needs special handling, whether it's too heavy or it's a material that needs special handling. Make it clear upfront, and that wraps up the seven C's of e-commerce. So let's go over them just real quick once again. Is content, commerce, credibility, communication, connectivity, convenience, and cost. All right. Those are seven elements that when you do the review of your online store, I don't know how often you run that with your team, whether it's maybe quarterly, uh, say and express to the team, okay, let's make sure that we are checking all of these seven boxes as a group, as a team. Let's review them and let's see what we can improve, because after all, we're going to be providing a better experience to the customers. We're going to be raising our conversion rates because we're going to be ticking all of the boxes, and we're going to be on top of that. Instead of uh, letting the competition do it, because this video is going to be available to everybody, and this information is useful to anyone. So whether you're using it, you're applying it to your business and to your website, or your competitors are, somebody is going to do it, and somebody is going to be ticking all of those boxes on their online store, and they're going to see the improvement, they're going to be seeing the increased revenue and conversion rates. And it's just a matter of fact that when you check these 7 boxes and you're checking them constantly and improving on them regularly, you're going to see results. There's no way that you're checking all these 7 boxes and you're not going to see results, because these are the basics. Everybody is expecting them, whether they're thinking about it or not. They're gonna get hit a wall if they don't have, if your online store doesn't have the credibility, for example, or if your connections are not working well. You know so make it easy for your customers to shop on your online store. Share with us as well on the comments if if you're planning on implementing any of this, if you actually run the review of your online store and notice that you are lacking on one of these 7 C's, and how you plan to address them. We'd love to hear from you, and we're going to open it to questions and answers now. If you made it to this point of the video, please remember to hit the like button and share this video with a friend or somebody that is a business owner and that could really utilize this kind of information for their business. Let's take a look here. I'm going to see on the chat. Let's take a look. See what we can see here. Um, let's see. Here's some questions from the viewers. How do I know if my website layout is confusing my customers? So I strongly recommend that you run it through a small focus group, and you don't have to get too fancy about this. Just ask some people that can give you some honest feedback about your online store, about your website. You can do it with professionals too if you want to reach out to us, and we'll give you our opinion. Totally free. Is our layout confusing? But somebody, some friends or family just say, hey, I'm working on the 7 C's of e-commerce for my site, and start a conversation with them and say, hey, I want to see if my website is confusing. Can you help me take a look at it? Let's take a look at just this page. Do you know what action to take? Do maybe you want to show them a product page? What do you think of the pictures, or the layout, the text? Is it too small? Is it too rambling? Is it not clear enough? Just ask them directly, but ask people that you trust, that they'll give you an honest feedback, because some people will just try to be on your nice side and say, oh yeah, it looks great, but no, ask them, what is this page about? What does this product do for you? And you can see, they'll tell you if something they see that is confusing and that you can fix on your landing page. Let's see, what type of content actually helps people decide to buy, and what is just noise? So noise would be just very large product descriptions. Most of the time, people are not reading, they're just scanning real quick. So if you can have the main points on like bullet points, or larger headlines in your description, great. Try to cut as much fat as possible, because that becomes just noise. People don't want to have to scroll a lot to see that. You could even go as far as putting certain sections of your products descriptions into accordion menus so that they don't have to scroll and read the whole thing. Maybe just ingredients and put it inside an accordion menu, and the product description, the larger one, have it on a different menu. And different things that relate to the product, you may want to have them in accordions so that they're not displaying full blown from the very beginning. Um, Things that help people decide to buy. Um, some very important ones are product reviews. So make sure that you're asking and collecting and displaying up to date product reviews, because people use those to decide and to judge and to evaluate whether the product would be right for them. Maybe depending what kind of review system you're using. Um, People can include their general, age um, bracket, or their gender, or their city or country, or you know things like that help people relate. Like, okay, I see that more men in my age group have a positive review or a positive experience with this product that I'm looking at. So, I'll relate to that, and it will help me make a better informed decision on purchasing the product. So, definitely product reviews, trust seals are always important. Um, Good product images, even lifestyle images, like people actually using the product that you're selling, whether it's a sports water bottle. Well, I want to see, somebody that is doing sports and using it. And, it just conveys the idea about the product and the benefits of the product a little better than just a product, or just a product shot, without a lifestyle shot. Those kind of things will help you, and will help your customers make a decision to buy. Um, what other questions do you have here? Let's see. Um, what is the simplest way to personalize the shopping experience without expensive tools? Um, a lot of e-commerce platforms, like I know that Shopify, BigCommerce, and WooCommerce can do this automatically. It can pull recommended products automatically based on previous historical data, like previous purchases. So that's like the lowest hanging fruit that you should have in your e-commerce store. Just, this product usually gets bundled or purchased along this other product. Those are done automatically by what other customers have bought in the past. So that would be the easiest, the least expensive, and the built-in option that you have at your disposal right there in your e-commerce platform. Um, Beyond that, you could use email marketing that has personalization built in. I know that Klaviyo can do this, MailChimp can do this, and some other platforms may also include it. But just based on what the customer purchased, uh, your system can follow up automatically and recommend other products that might be of interest to that person. And the system can take a look at seasonality, for example, uh, or geographic location of your customer, and just pull all of those data points and suggest products that are personalized for that specific customer. Um, Simple things in your backend, as including um, the name of your customer. There are certain tags and certain elements that you can include in the backend of your store that say, Welcome back, Daniel. It's good to see you. Here's a little list of products that might interest you today. When you welcome a customer, you can utilize the name, the first name of your customer in your system to make it a little more personal. Also, your chatbot can utilize things like that. Definitely use it on your email marketing pieces and personalizing the post purchase email sequence, even abandoned carts and things like that. That's some low hanging fruit for you right there. So that would be um, you know the least expensive tools at your disposal to begin with. Personalization. Let's see. Connection. No, connection is which integrations or external platforms should I connect my store to uh, before launching? That's a good question. So there are some very basic ones that include um shipping. Definitely, you want to show live rates that you have negotiated, whether it's with FedEx, UPS, USPS, or in whatever postal service or shipping service you're using in your country. Uh, connecting an app of the shipping calculator to those accounts, so that you have real time shipping calculations. Um, we always recommend integrating at least two payment gateways, whether is credit card and some other kind of digital wallet, Apple Pay being the most popular, followed by other checkout options such as PayPal Express or just PayPal, the regular PayPal, after ship for, things, not after ship, but what this other one? Installment payment apps. Those are good to have because you're giving the customers the options to pay with a credit card, pay with their digital wallet, or pay in installments. So, those three would be, good for you to integrate. Um, your SSO certificate should be done, but that's actually not an app. Um, you want to do Google Analytics. It's a very good integration to have because it gives you great visibility into what is happening in your store, which pages are the most viewed, how is the checkout flow working. Um, yeah, so I would say those are the basic ones to launch a store. How do I make my site look more trustworthy so people feel safe buying from me? Uh, yeah, we touched on that earlier, on trust seals. Whether you are displaying the credit card logos, any kind of security feature that applies in your online store, you want to, give them peace of mind that transaction is encrypted and secure and safe private. Definitely having your SSO certificate in place so that they can have the lock icon on the browser. Any affiliations, certifications that your business has or the products themselves have, you want to display those as well to convey credibility and trustworthiness. Why does my website look fine on desktop but terrible on phones? And how do I fix it fast? Depending on what platform you're on, you should be able to switch. If you need to do this fast, you could switch to a different theme. um, BigCommerce has themes. Shopify has templates. WooCommerce and WordPress have themes as well. So if your website, your online store looks fine on desktop right now because you built it some years ago and that's what you were using to review it, but you need to change it to be mobile friendly as well and as quickly as possible as you're asking. You just want to switch themes. Just switch to a theme and a template that is mobile responsive. That would be the fastest fix for your problem. And once you do that, you'll want to customize it. You want to, test it again. Now this time, test it both on desktop and mobile devices, not just cell phones, but also tablets, like iPads and things like that. But switching themes allows your online store to be mobile friendly very rapidly without a lot of work. Now you will need to change colors, make sure that your logo is scaling appropriately, that your fonts and text everything is fine, then your product images. But that would be the fastest fix for you. Um, how can I know what's slowing down my website and how much does speed really affect sales? Speed is a very big factor on e-commerce, and it will definitely affect your sales if your site is slow. Nobody likes a slow site. And make sure that you're testing your site not just on your Wi-Fi at the office or at home, but that you're actually testing your site on a mobile um, on a mobile network. So turn off the Wi-Fi. Make sure that your phone is just on the cell phone mobile network and test your site. See how fast it's loading. um, if possible, you can do it like an incognito browser window so that it's not pulling from the cache on your phone. Um, and beyond that, there are some speed test tools out on the internet that you can utilize to test your website. One of them that we use regularly here at Tripoli is just the Google Page Speed Insight tool. It will show you what your users are experiencing, in reality, if you have enough traffic. If your website doesn't have enough traffic and Google can't display those for you, then it will give you a very good idea of how slow or how fast it is. And it gives you a score from, 0 to 100. Um, and you can see where you're at. Google provides this tool for free because they obviously are interested in you improving your site, so that whenever they show a link to your site, whether it's in their search engine rankings or something like that, that they're actually showing sites and online stores that provide a good user experience, and a big piece of that is speed. So if your website is slow, you're probably not going to rank very well on Google, but you can use their tool. It's called Page Speed Insights, uh, to check and see what's slowing your website down. It will actually show you, what things are hanging, whether it's probably a very large image or a video that you upload to your site and is not compressed and loading in a way that is speed friendly. You can see all that in the report from PageSpeed Insights from Google. So speed affects sales a great deal. Nobody likes to tap add to cart and have to wait 30 seconds for the next page to load. I mean, you absolutely lose your customers if your online store is loading slowly, or just not going from one step to the next fast enough. You have been impressed. I mean, look at Amazon. Go to their website and try to add products and load pages and things like that. It's extremely fast. Now, I'm not saying that you have the resources that Amazon has to distribute uh, their online store through all of their servers around the world, but you still have control over, how fast your site is by, first of all, if you're going to use a WordPress site with WooCommerce, make sure that you're choosing the right hosting account. A lot of hosts allow you to select the region where you want your website to live in, and you should choose the appropriate region for your customers. If you're in North America, make sure that you're choosing that region for your hosting. Um, and if you're anywhere else in the world, just choose that region so that the customers that are closer to you, they're probably getting the most marketing because they're just geographically closer. They can access your store through servers that are closer to them, and that'll make it faster. Um, if you're on a hosted solution like BigCommerce or Shopify, they also allow you to select the region when you're just setting up your account. So if for any reason you happen to choose the wrong setup, reach out to them and see if they can switch you to the correct region so that you're pulling up faster on web browsers. And the last thing is that when you start with your online store on these hosted solutions, it's going to be really fast. They created their base themes to be extremely fast when loading. So unfortunately, as we grow your business, uh, we tend to add more and more and more elements, more apps, more images, more videos, um, just heavier stuff into the site, and it starts to slow it down. It's not that the infrastructure that you're on is slow, it's just the fact that maybe you put so much on that one online store that is starting to slow it down. So be very mindful about which apps you're using. And if there's an app that can do the job of two apps that you currently have, well, you may consider switching to that app so that you are only running one external app instead of two. Um, but the main thing is that your images are optimized for web. You're only serving the size of images that is necessary for the different devices, and not a very large image that you know you don't have any broken plugins if you're running on WordPress and WooCommerce. Um, that you are utilizing additional apps to speed up the loading of your site. I'm not going to mention names right now, but there are apps that will cache your site and make it available to your users much faster than having to load the site from zero every single time that I visit your website. So speed is a big factor on conversion rates, and you'll want to keep an eye on those and test it regularly. At Tropically, we keep a log of speed scores every time we run one of those reports. We grab a screenshot and we save it for a client so that we know at any given point where the store was, what kind of results we were getting on speed at any given time during the year. And if for some reason we see a big drop on speed scores, then we backtrack and say, okay, what happened between this last test and today's test? Did we implement something new? Did we added a new connection? What happened? Did we change hosting accounts? Did we change themes? What did we do that the speed score dropped to this level? There are variances even throughout the day. If you run the speed test in the morning and in the afternoon, you might see a variance, but it shouldn't be that drastic. But if you see a drastic and consistent drop, then you definitely want to check what happened in between the previous test and the latest test. And a lot of times you can revert, you can, say, okay, it's affecting our speed and it's affecting our conversion rates because now we're loading so slow. So let's backtrack. Let's pull that app that we integrated, see if that makes any difference. And once you pinpoint what caused that speed drop, then you take an action on that. But that will be all for today. Thank you very much for joining. Again, if you found this video helpful, remember to hit the like button, share this video with another online store business owner. We really appreciate you being with us today. Thank you for your questions. And we'll be back next week with another live stream of e-commerce and web design. Ask Me Anything. My name is Daniel with Trapoli, and thank you for watching today. We'll catch you on the next one.